All right, in this video, we're going to talk about the Oakland A's. I know. Here we go again with the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's have started their season 3-16, and holy shit, what a disaster. And this video starts right now. So I've been on this kick of talking about the Oakland A's for the last few days, and today they played the Chicago Cubs, another world beater, and they got swept by the Cubs, and they lost, 12-2? They lost 12-2. They're now 3-16. And they have one of the worst records in the history of the Athletics, which goes back 123 years. This goes back as far as Kansas City. It goes back even back to the Philadelphia Athletics. So they have matched the worst start in the history of this franchise, and the fans are not happy. The fans are planning to do a boycott, but they're calling it a reverse boycott. With this reverse boycott, the A's fans in Oakland are going to show up to a game. They're going to show up to a game and fill the ballpark. We'll see if that works. I don't know when they plan on doing it. We'll have another video on that on Thursday for you. But things are getting really bad. And Major League Baseball, you can't continue to have a team that goes back and forth. You got to have some solidity there. And it seems that the media has started to notice what's going on there because it is so bad. They are on pace to go 30-132. A's are on pace to win 30 games. That is worse than the worst team in the history of baseball, which is the 62 Mets. The Casey Stengel 62 Mets. But the only difference between Casey's team and this team is that team in 62 was entertaining in their mediocrity and their losing because of Casey Stengel. And there were veteran players that were great players on that team that were way past their prime. But this A's team has very little talent. They have young talent, the only good thing about them, to point out, is they play hard. They played very hard against the New York Mets this past weekend, but they lost 3 games. That tells you everything you need to know, okay? They have talent, but the talent is not good enough to overcome. They play hard, but there's no talent. And the fans don't like going there because it's such a dump. It was not great back in the 70s. It wasn't great in the 60s, to be honest with you, to go and watch a ball game. And now because everybody has seen these beautiful ballparks that have popped up over the last 30 years, like Camden Yards, the place in Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Citi Field. Even the Marlins have a better ballpark than the A's. And nobody goes to Miami games. Nobody goes down there. Nobody. And even places that are inhospitable to baseball early in the season have better ballparks. Target Field's better than Oakland. It's terrible there. You have animals running the ballpark. Animals, vermin running that ballpark. Stray cats running around. No wonder why the fans don't want to go. And then you put into all this a bad ball club. You put all that into this mix, and the team is bad. And the fans could never attach themselves to any players. They have homegrown players, and then they trade them away for more homegrown players. The fans don't get attached to the players. The players don't get attached to the fans. You don't see any player sign a long-term contract with the Oakland A's. Nobody. The Guardians are able to do it, and that's a small market. The Braves are able to do it. No problem. They sign all the players that they want to sign. Oakland, nobody wants to stay there. And nobody wants to stay. They don't offer anybody contracts. They don't do any of those things. So you have a situation with the Oakland A's. They need to get out of that ballpark. Or, I got an idea, spend some money on the team. Maybe spend some money, show the city that you want to build a regular team. And even when they have these good teams, folks, they never spend the money. They don't spend money. They don't bring in a big contract. They don't sign a guy like, say, Max Scherzer or sign a Justin Verlander. And this owner is valued at $2.4 billion. John Fisher of the Oakland A's, he's the primary owner. He is valued at $2.4 billion. Now, I'm not a millionaire, let alone a billionaire, but I think you could be able to afford a good ball club in this day and age. And to be able to put out some competitive team, and to have teams that have some real stars on it. This team in the 80s, this franchise in the 80s had great players. Even the teams of the early 2000s had players that were stars. But again, the same issue, they traded them away, they let them go in free agency. But you have not seen a great Oakland A's team in 30 years. When you had guys like Dennis Eckersley, Dave Stewart, Mike Welch, Ricky Henderson, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. I mean, we can discuss, Carney Lansford. You can talk about these guys that did the steroids. But how many great players I just named? I named like 6, 7 players here that everybody knows. Even 30 years later, everybody knows them. And they don't have anything. They have nothing. They had a celebration for the 73 Oakland A's. 20,000 people went to the ballpark. They should have filled up that stadium. No problem. But because the ownership doesn't give a shit, ownership doesn't care, they just want to build their team, do whatever they trade for. It could be Sean Murphy or Matt Olson, Chris Bassett. They play these guys. They get up to a certain point, and then they trade them. I also would mention this as well. Bob Melvin, who was there all those years, got frustrated to the point where he moved out of there. He signed a contract with the A's. And when he saw he could get another job somewhere else, he went to San Diego. San Diego's in the opposite direction. San Diego has a beautiful ballpark. The city is responsible too. To be honest with you, I haven't talked much about the city, how much of a mess the city is there. They're just as responsible for this disaster as the ownership is. Okay? They refuse to build a ballpark. They refuse to let the A's out of their lease. And they do nothing to make any kind of improvements to that park. Tear down the center field stands that they have there. You can't see the city skyline with those stands there. Those stands should be taken down. Okay? They do nothing to clean up that ballpark, the city. They don't do anything about the cats. They don't do anything about the possums or whatever the hell else is running. Probably rats and everything else. That should not happen in 2023 for any ballpark in America or in North America. That should never happen in this day and age. So, I'm going to rant about this, till I'm blue in the face, because I think this is an interesting topic. Because usually we talk about great stuff here in New York with the Mets, and even with the Yankees. But this is pathetic. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Leave comments in the comment section. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2. Thank you, and I'll see you later.